Have you ever heard of the ancient prophet Enoch, a man gifted with the terrifying ability to see what no other human could? Enoch was not just any prophet, he was granted vision so dark and unsettling that even the bravest among us would shudder at the thought. Today we unveil one of Enoch's most chilling encounters, a revelation so haunting that it could alter your understanding of the spiritual world forever. Enoch's story begins in a world long forgotten, a world where the boundaries between heaven and earth were more fluid, and the forces of darkness were ever present. In this forgotten world, Enoch was visited by a majestic angel named Uriel. Uriel's wings shone like the brightest stars, and his eyes held the wisdom of ages. But this encounter was far from comforting. Uriel's voice resonated with an authority that could not be ignored. "I have something grave to show you, something that has been hidden from mankind, a dark truth about the fallen angels who dared to defy the Creator." These angels, Uriel revealed, had descended to earth, taking on various forms and corrupting humanity in unimaginable ways. They had led mankind astray, teaching them to worship demons, and their influence spread like a deadly plague across the earth. As Uriel's words hung heavy in the air, Enoch's heart filled with dread. He knew that what he was about to witness would be horrifying beyond comprehension, yet he steeled himself and followed the angel. Uriel led Enoch to a desolate, forsaken land, where the air itself seemed thick with a darkness that weighed upon the soul. Here Uriel's voice echoed in the void, is where the fallen angels are bound, awaiting their final judgment. Enoch's eyes widened as he saw the shadows moving in the darkness. These were no ordinary shadows. They were the tormented spirits of the fallen angels, bound in chains, their anguish palpable in the air. But the horror did not end there. Enoch, with a voice trembling in fear, asked, "What of the women?" The women who were deceived by these angels. Uriel's gaze darkened with sorrow as he spoke. "Those women," he revealed, "have been cursed. They have become sirens, creatures of the deep sea, doomed to lure men to their deaths with their haunting, irresistible songs." Enoch's blood ran cold. He had heard of the sirens, mythical creatures whose beauty was a cruel deception. But now he knew the truth behind the legend. These women, once innocent and pure, had been transformed into beings of sorrow and destruction. Their voices, once filled with love, now sang songs that led men to their doom, their beauty hiding an endless torment within. As Uriel spoke, Enoch's mind was flooded with a vision so vivid and horrifying that it nearly drove him to madness. He saw the sirens, with their long, flowing hair and eyes that sparkled like the ocean, sitting atop jagged rocks in the sea. Their songs, hauntingly beautiful, called out to sailors who, enchanted by the melody, steered their ships towards certain death. Ship after ship wrecked on the rocks, the cries of the doomed sailors filling the air, while the sirens, once loving wives and mothers, could only watch in despair as their curse claimed more lives. In the midst of this nightmare, Enoch was shown a vision of the end of days, a vision of the great judgment. He saw the fallen angels brought before a divine tribunal, their sins laid bare for all to see. Their reign of terror was over, their punishment sealed, but the devastation they had wrought was eternal. The pain and suffering they had caused would leave scars on the world that could never fully heal. When the vision faded, Enoch found himself back in the desolate land with Uriel by his side, the angel's expression filled with sorrow. Why must it be this way? Enoch's voice was barely a whisper, broken by the weight of what he had seen. Uriel placed a comforting hand on Enoch's shoulder. "It is the price of defiance and corruption," he explained. The fallen angels chose to rebel against the Creator, and in doing so, they brought ruin upon themselves and those they touched. But do not lose hope, Enoch, for the great judgment will bring an end to their suffering and a new beginning for the world. Though Uriel's words offered some comfort, Enoch's heart was still heavy with the knowledge of what was to come. He knew that he had been chosen to witness these events, And with that knowledge came a great responsibility. Enoch returned to his people, burdened with the truth of the fallen angels and the tragic fate of their wives. He warned the sailors of the dangers lurking beneath the waves, spoke of the impending judgment, and urged his people to remain steadfast and true in the face of the coming trials. In the ancient and mighty city of Babylon, where power and splendor were unmatched, a dark prophecy hung in the air. The king of the Chaldeans, proud and arrogant, praised the city's glory, never imagining that it could ever fall. But a prophet spoke of a different future, one of destruction and desolation. Babylon, the prophet declared, will become like Sodom and Gomorrah, which God overthrew in his wrath. The people were stunned into silence, unable to believe that their beloved city could face such a fate. But the prophet's vision was clear. Babylon, once a beacon of wealth and power, would be laid to waste, its grand palaces turned to ruins, its bustling markets silenced forever. The prophet's words grew even more chilling as he spoke of the creatures that would inhabit the ruins of Babylon. The great city, once filled with life, would become a home for wild animals, its splendor replaced by the howls of the beasts that would roam its deserted streets. And so, the fate of Babylon was sealed, a reminder that even the mightiest can fall when they defy the will of God. There, sirens will rest, their mournful songs echoing through the empty streets. Demons will dance in the shadows, celebrating the city's downfall. Donkey centaurs will dwell there, strange and unsettling creatures, and hedgehogs will build their nests in the abandoned houses. As he described this haunting scene, the prophet's voice took on a tone of urgency. This destruction is coming quickly and will not delay. The glory of Babylon will soon be a distant memory, replaced by silence and decay. The people could hardly believe what they were hearing. Babylon, the glorious city of the Chaldeans, reduced to a wasteland where wild animals roamed and supernatural beings found refuge. The vision was a stark contrast to the bustling, vibrant city they knew. Yet the prophet's words were a warning, no matter how powerful. It was beyond the reach of divine judgment. The pride and arrogance of Babylon would lead to its downfall, and the once great city would become a symbol of desolation and ruin. In the rich and complex pages of ancient texts, tracing the figure of Nyama in the Book of Enoch opens up intriguing possibilities. The figure of Nyama appears in various traditions with differing roles and interpretations, from being a seductress in some accounts to a more redeemable figure in others. In 1 Enoch 19 verse 2, Uriel speaks about the daughters of men whom the angels had seduced, leading to the transgression that ultimately brought about their downfall. The text mentions that the wives of these angels would become sirens, a term that has puzzled scholars. For instance, Michael Black retained the Greek term sirens in his translation, noting the challenge of finding a suitable equivalent. He pondered whether the original term might have been something akin to daughters of loveliness, as found in Targum Isaiah 13 verse 21, where desert owls are described attractively. However, there is a compelling argument to be made for reading the original Aramaic as daughters of Nama. Nama, a figure with deep roots in various traditions, appears in Gnostic texts as Noria and in Jewish folklore with complex connotations. If 1 Enoch 19 verse 2 indeed refers to the daughters of Nama, it could suggest a reinterpretation of these figures not solely as seductresses, but as beings with a potential for redemption. This interpretation aligns with a minority view in ancient texts, which suggests that these women, who were seen as seduced and corrupted, could ultimately be redeemed. This perspective is supported by scholars like Stromsa and Pearson, who discuss the reaction against the negative portrayal of Nyama. They propose that Gnostic interpretations of figures like Noria might reflect an inversion of earlier negative stereotypes, transforming them into more positive or redeemable characters. If Nama's presence in 1 Enoch is acknowledged, it could significantly impact our understanding of the text. It would suggest that the dichotomy between the sons of God and the daughters of men has deeper roots in Jewish thought than previously recognized. This division, often interpreted as representing the Saphites and Canaanites respectively, would highlight a long-standing narrative of conflict and potential redemption. Moreover, this reading could indicate that the story of Nyama and her daughters in 1 Enoch is not merely a story of seduction and fall, but also one of hope and restoration. It would mean that the text preserves an early tradition of seeing these women as capable of redemption. A view that later Gnostic thinkers could have expanded upon rather than merely inverting. The suggestion that 1 Enoch 19:2 originally referred to the daughters of Nyama offers a fresh lens through which to view the text. It highlights an ancient and perhaps original view of these women as more than just seductresses, potentially redeemable and integral to the unfolding human divine drama. This perspective enriches our understanding of the complex interactions between angels and humans in early Jewish thought and sets the stage for later Gnostic reinterpretations. Thank you for watching.